But it's another weekend of violence in Chicago. But it's another weekend of violence in Chicago. Tell me what you think is driving it right now. What kind of skirmishes? How gang related is all of this? What's going on in the streets of Chicago?
Well, it's an honor to be back on your show once again. And what's driving the violence really is it's a lot of interpersonal conflict that turns into gang. It spirals into gang conflict. The violence is all over the place right now in Chicago. It's like fashionable to shoot into crowds of people. It's fashionable to carjack people. It's like a purge, sort of like a purge going on in Chicago. And I've said this many times, but I'm offering a different solution. I think there's a need for an African-American army to organize in Chicago and not kill people. Let me make that clear, but go out and bring these young guys to the table of peace by any means necessary, because these young guys, they're at war with one another. They're shooting high-level, semi-automatic guns out there. People are being killed every weekend. We have over 400 homicides in Chicago to date. Over 2,200 people have been shot. It's totally unacceptable. So right now in Chicago, the violence is all over the place, Martha. That's what's going on.
I mean, I just want to reiterate what you just said moments ago. You said shooting into crowds is fashionable right now.
Yes.
In Chicago. So that's what elevates some of these young men in their crowd, is doing something like that.
That we need an African-American army. And let me paint this picture real quick. I'm not talking about going out there. I'm saying imagine 2,000 or 3,000 to 10,000 African-American men dealing with this issue, because the gang violence and the gun violence is a cultural issue and it's tribal. The police are not equipped to deal with a cultural and a tribal issue amongst African-American people. Over 80% of the gun crimes that are committed in Chicago take place in the African-American community. Most of my people know what I'm talking about when I say we need to organize on a higher level. We need to go out and reclaim our youth by any means necessary. The young men do not know how to mediate their conflicts. They need outside mediators like a United Nations peacekeepers, Martha. That's what needs to happen in Chicago.
It's just something I wanted to share. I was strolling through the news yesterday, and this was one of the headlines, and it caught my attention. I figured I'd share it. I'm not certain what the solutions are. However, I think just having the discussion and bringing it to the forefront is a start. So we've got to do better as a community, as a people, and within our environment. This is strange. Mr. Hardiman said it's like a purge. He said it's fashionable to shoot into crowds in Chicago. Now, this is the United States of America, good old US of A, stars and stripes. If anything is pandemic level or deserves a lot of attention, it's circumstances like this. This is homegrown terrorism in a way. Self-destructive behavior amongst a group of people that, that's definitely getting out of hand. 400 murders, 2,200 reported shootings. So if there's 400 murders documented, there's probably 1,000 people dead. And if 2,200 shootings reported, it could be close to 5,000. This is a matter where, as the gentleman said, the police department, they're just not equipped. They don't have the weaponry, they don't have the manpower. This may be a federal issue. The gentleman suggested that we get an army of black men, to address the situation. And I can understand where he's coming from. It may sound frightening at first, an army of black men. Of course, with stars and stripes here in the U.S., they ain't going for that. But I get the concept what the gentleman is talking about. It takes steel to sharpen steel, and you have to be accountable for your own.